Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jack Cassell, Chairman of the Board of Trustees at American University, and what a wonderful day. It's a terrific day. It's a beautiful day outside, and it's a beautiful day inside to announce this 15th presidency of American University. We do this at a time when AU has never been stronger. The yardsticks to our successes are based on metrics for academic quality, student achievement, financial strength, facilities enhancements, our public profile, and numerous others. Much of our success over the past 10 years we owe to our outgoing president, Dr. Neil Kerwin. We owe him a great deal of thanks. Neil will be stepping down May 31st, and of course we thank him for all that he's done. When we completed our last accreditation process about 2 years ago, the Middle States review team said, your greatest challenge will be to duplicate your recent success trajectory into the future. Well, I am confident that we will do that, definitely do that, and I am here to announce today American University's 15th president and our first woman president. So I guess I should say the name, Sylvia Mathews Burwell. I have to admit, I just got a little teared up having had my family history so long here at American University to be able to say how proud I am that we do have a woman president. It's awesome. Until last week, Sylvia was the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, a position she held for the past couple of years. Prior to that, she was the Director of the Office of Management and Budget. She also served as Chief Operating Officer and as founding president for the Global Development Program of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Prior to that, she was the president of the Walmart Foundation. Sylvia is an accomplished government official and global foundation executive, a person of immense character, rigor of thought, and intense mission focus. She is a graduate of Harvard University and was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University. She understands the intersection of business, government, academia, philanthropy, and has an intellectual curiosity that she has applied in her roles to push the boundaries of knowledge and address complex national and global problems using scholarship, research, and creativity. This has included expertise applied to national health care, global public health and disease control, and biomedical research. She is experienced in coalition building, obviously the political process, large-scale budgeting and finance, and philanthropy. Last week, I had the pleasure of going to her portraiture unveiling, and I heard some of the words that were being spoken about her. Some of those words are honest, trustworthy, a strategic thinker who excels at motivating others and demands high performance, a great listener who knows how to benefit from the wisdom and insight of others, a team player with the ability to rally the team, hardworking, extremely smart, grounded, and a family person, and a person of great impact. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the characteristics of the next president of American University. And if it doesn't sound like she does a lot, she and her husband, Stephen, are also raising 2 young children, Helene, age 9, and Matthew, age 7. I'd like to ask the 3 of them to please stand and be welcome to the AU family. I will let you know that I already have instructed the children that they should go over to TDR because they have a ice cream bar that goes 24/7. So they're really happy about that. They're also really happy because they want to meet Claude a little bit later. So, Secretary Burwell, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire AU community, we are delighted to have you as our next president to continue our momentum and upward trajectory here at AU. You'll be hearing from Secretary Burwell in just a few minutes, but I've asked 3 of our members of our search committee to say a few words, and I would like to introduce the first of those 3. The first is our former chair of the board, an esteemed alum, and a person who about 10 months ago accepted the responsibility I asked him to take, which was to be the chair of our presidential search committee. Well, it was one of the best and probably the best decision I've ever made as board chair to ask Jeff to do that. He accepted the position. He moved forward with it 100%, did a terrific job, and you can see the outcome. I'd like to introduce Jeff Sine to please come to the podium.
We're so excited that we're here today and finally able to share this incredible news with our community. And thank you for all being part of it. I think there's a lot of people here in the room today who absolutely were a big part of this, and I want to recognize some of them. I also want to tell you a little bit about the process that took us from Neil's decision to step down at the end of this academic year to where we are today. And it was an extensive process. It was an inclusive process. It was one that involved a lot of outreach, a lot of listening, and ultimately some very high-class choices that we were able to make. The process began with putting together a search committee. I'm going to introduce them in a minute. We also then worked on a position statement that described what we were looking for in a new president, and this may have been the world's first crowdsourced position statement. This is Mary Kennard's idea, where we put it out there for our entire community to comment on. We went through several iterations. I just want to read you one particularly important paragraph from that position statement, and I think you will see how well we tracked to those aspirations. At this critical moment in its history, American University is seeking a bold, intellectual leader who is confident and discerning about new opportunities rather than opting for the status quo. The next president should embody the university's values and have a capacity for inspiration and vision that will continue the university's dynamic trajectory. A passion for diversity in all its forms, a commitment to building an inclusive community, and a deeply held belief in engagement and shared governance will be paramount to the selection of American University's 15th president. So we took those words extremely seriously. We engaged in a very wide-reaching process of both traditional and non-traditional candidates, those from the academy, those from outside the academy. I have to say that the reputation of AU placed us in very good stead in terms of attracting an incredibly high caliber of folks that we were able to speak with. In the end, we invited 11 candidates back to interview with our committee, and our committee sent 6 of those back to our wider community. What we did is then we asked groups of faculty, students, and staff, as well as, of course, the deans and administrators, to meet with these candidates, and they gave us their feedback. Remarkably, we kept the whole process confidential. And I think that's also a testament to the goodwill that we had throughout this process. So I think this is a very, very inclusive process, and I think that everyone is involved in it, and now I think our entire community feels great about where we've ended up. I want to now recognize the members of the search committee and ask, as I call your name, to stand up if you're here. I know a couple of them will be joining us later. So my vice chair in the committee, I don't think is here yet, Gina Adams. Jack Casella, of course. Mary Clark, Dean of Academic Affairs. Gary Cohn, who was a trustee up until last Friday, now is elsewhere in Washington. Mark Duber, our vice chair of the board. One of our 3 faculty members, Kiho Kim. Judge Lee, a trustee. Betsy Mangone, trustee. Our second faculty member, Sarah Menke-Fish from the School of Communications. Our past president of our alumni board, Andrea Marino. Trustee, Arthur Rothkopf. Trustee, Peter Scher. Our student trustee and undergraduate student representative to the committee, Shaheem Sneed. Our graduate student representative to the committee, Arthur Soto-Vasquez. I should attribute, Shaheem is from SBA, and Arthur is from the School of Communications. Tiffany Speaks from the Center for Diversity and Inclusion, representing the staff. And Sharon Weiner, right here from SIS. We could not have done our work, and it was quite a bit of work, without terrific support from David. Where's David? David Taylor. Thank you, David. Lisa Arakaki. Leslie Wong. And Terry Flannery. And finally, I wanted to publicly express our gratitude to our search consultant, Spencer Stewart, who really spread the word. And I think one of the maybe unanticipated but very powerful benefits of a process like this is we get to tell our story very widely around the globe. And it's a story that resonated. And Spencer Stewart was a big help in telling that story. And I think this is all going to portend magnificent things for AU in the future. Final thing I just wanted to say as a word of advice to the secretary, who was pretty much flat out up until last Thursday. So you probably haven't had time to check out the health plan here at AU, but it's actually excellent. You have a choice of an HMO option or a PPO option. The only thing you have to keep your eye on is, though, you have a 30-day window to sign up after your start date. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kiyo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. It's been a great honor to represent my faculty colleagues on the Presidential Search Committee, which began its work last spring. Like all of you, I wanted a president who was going to be an extraordinary leader and a visionary, someone who will continue our work to garner greater recognition and distinction for AU. As a faculty member, I also want a president who appreciates and fosters the unique culture of AU, especially the scholar-teacher ideal, and also the call to turn ideas into action. features that are deeply embedded in the DNA of our institution and that need to be transcribed into the blueprint of AU's next steps. Secretary Burwell is that person. She brings to bear an illustrious career, leading some of the most complex and prestigious institutions, from major philanthropies to the highest level of federal government. Most recently, as Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary Burwell oversaw 11 agencies, including the National Institutes of Health, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Food and Drug Administration, with nearly 80,000 employees and the largest budget of any cabinet-level department. These agencies depend upon research and scholarship to solve fundamental problems in our society, from affordable health care to disease control and also substance abuse. Secretary Burwell's successes at Health and Human Services reflect three key factors that will make her an outstanding president of our university. First, her ability to foster research and scholarship and turn them into action. Second, her ability to embrace and leverage the strength of a large and a diverse institution to advance its goals. And third, her ability to convey complex ideas to a wide-ranging audience, from members of Congress to the general public, in pushing for evidence-based action and outcomes. Knowing that Secretary Burwell can move Congress to action, I'm sure she could do wonders for a classroom full of students in a science general education class. And I know she would welcome the opportunity. So it is with great honor and excitement that I welcome Secretary Burwell to American University.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh no, we have to pretend like we're excited. Not pretend, but we know we're excited for the next president of American University. Good afternoon, American University. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Shaheem Sneed, and I've served on the search committee as the undergraduate student representative, and I also serve as your student trustee. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Throughout this amazing, rewarding process, there have been many alternative facts surfacing about who our next president will be. But I am pleased to join my colleagues on stage in announcing that it is the most recent secretary of the Health and Human Services Agency. As a student, this is a truly humbling moment. At the core, American University is a place of higher learning with the mission of educating leaders who would transform ideas into action. Students are very much so at the center of this mission. American University students come from coast to coast and from all the corners of the world. And with them, they carry the hopes, the dreams, the fears, the passions of their families and of their communities. There is a lot that happens between the packed Bender gym on the morning of convocation and receiving a diploma in that same Bender arena several years later. Like many students in the room, and like many of our alumni, American University has exposed me to an experiential education, world-class faculty members, unparalleled life and world experiences. Though we all know that this student experience does not come without its challenges. A divisive political climate at times, challenges with mental health, challenges with racial equity and inclusion, and the rising cost of higher education all are problems facing students around the country and here on our campus. Given these challenges and given this pivotal moment in our nation's history and on our campus history, there is not a more important time for strategic, visionary, and inclusive leadership. Sylvia Mathews Burwell is that leader. Sylvia Mathews Burwell's lifelong dedication to public service and improving the lives and families across the country is proof of her poise for this opportunity. In her long and storied career of public service, she's tackled our nation's most difficult problems. I'm not going to list her resume here, but these include fighting Zika, promoting health and access to health domestically and abroad, and supporting education for all children at the earliest stages of life. This trailblazer leads with a high regard for results, collaboration, and relationship building. Trusted and respected by many, her dedication and tireless work ethic will be more than an invaluable resource to the development of our campus community now and in the future. As a student here at American University, I am fully confident that she will bring this history of leadership, care, and effectiveness to nurturing the student experience here at American University. Please join me in extending a warm welcome as I present to you the 15th President of American University, Secretary Sylvia Mathews Burwell.
Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction and for that very warm welcome. I will admit to you that in November, I did not think I would be the one referred to as the first woman president. I want to start by thanking everyone who made today possible, and that begins with President Neil Kerwin. And it is a tall order to follow in your footsteps, Neil, after all you have done to advance the mission of AU and launch AU on a path of great accomplishments and boundless potential. So thank you very much, Neil. And thank you, Jack and Jeff and all the members of the search committee. I also especially want to thank Kehoe and Shahim for coming and speaking today, and who represented the faculty and the students in so many great ways, the committee and you all too. So thank you all. And I also want to thank my family who's here with me today and always being there. To my parents who for 51 years, they're not here today, but they support and still teach me every day. And thanks to my husband, Stephen, and our children, Helene and Matthew, for filling my life with fun and joy, and because being your mom is the proudest job I'll ever have. And thank my sister, Stephanie, who I will speak to in a moment. I want to use this brief time to tell you about, sorry, Steph, to tell you about myself and the path that led me here. To join you all today. I was born in a small town in southern West Virginia, and I'm the granddaughter of 4 Greek immigrants. And from the earliest days, there were 2 themes that were consistent in my childhood and stay with me to this day. And one is education, and the other is public service. And while it was not a traditional choice for Greek immigrants to send their daughters to college, both sides of my grandparents did that. And for my mother, with their blessings, my mother, who was her high school valedictorian, went to the University of Cincinnati, and 4 years later, she graduated with honors. She became a teacher, and she taught for 30 years in classrooms that ranged, actually, my mom taught in a 1-room school, to a college that is now a university in southern West Virginia. And my father also shared that love of learning, and actually, his first degree was in English, and he became an English teacher. He then went on to become an optometrist, and that would be his profession. But his love for literature and learning continued. And anyone who walked in his office on Ballinger Street would generally get an unsolicited and complimentary lesson on anything from Shakespeare to Aristotle. And my parents lived, we lived in a small community in southern West Virginia, a little town named Hinton. And my father served on the local school board. My mother chaired the state school board, served on as an officer in the National Association of School Boards. You're seeing kind of a theme here, I think, as we go. And we didn't actually know much when we were thinking about higher education, about Harvard or the Ivy League at the time, but my sister Stephanie had strong PSATs and a very curious mind and a fearless approach to the unknown. So she got a letter from Harvard, and it encouraged her to apply. And she asked my parents if she could. They said yes, and she applied with that same boundless passion that she brings to every new assignment, and she was accepted. And 4 years later, I followed in Stephanie's footsteps and arrived in Cambridge. And after Harvard, I then studied at Oxford. And combined, those 7 years of thinking and learning were some of the most rewarding years of my life. And when I left Oxford, it was my plan to work for 2 years and then to return to school to either get a PhD or to go to law school. However, a presidential campaign for a little-known governor in Arkansas changed those plans. And swept into the White House in 1993, our team embarked on a path to strengthen the American economy. And under President Clinton's leadership, we balanced a budget and we worked with a Republican Congress to get it across the line. And that is something that is central to what I've seen in my time in public service: the importance and the power of common ground. And at HHS, the issues that we have worked on face stiff partisan politics, but we worked with members of Congress and governors across the aisle to make sure that we made progress on issues so important to the American people. We partnered with states to combat the prescription drug epidemic, one that my home state of West Virginia knows all too well. We worked with Congress and with governments around the world to face down the threats of infectious diseases like Ebola and Zika. And under the leadership of President Obama and this Congress, we continued this steady work to advance the frontiers of science and innovation and set our nation on a path for 21st century cures. And I believe in the notion that people who share common interests and common dreams can find common ground. And the Academy plays a pivotal role in that. In the fractured world that we live in today, the Academy can bring divergent voices together. It can inform the debate with scholarship and research, and that is no small task. And I believe that there are few institutions so well positioned to do that than American University. American University's future is bright, and thanks to Neil and the whole team here at AU, who have set this community on a very strong footing to lead the way. Today, here, the demand for undergraduate admission has never been greater. AU's endowment has grown, even amidst a recession, and its financial strength is evident. At a time when some universities have cut back, AU has grown. To meet its rising expectations for scholarly impact and quality instruction, AU has increased full-time faculty by nearly half over the past decade. Research and scholarship are more rigorous and intensive than ever before. And in fact, the university's research classification by the Carnegie Commission on Higher Education moved up to a more competitive level, grouped with institutions like Dartmouth and William & Mary. And that's the result of strategic decisions to focus on doctoral programs and a reflection of increased productivity and externally funded research. You can see this progress yourself with the opening of the East Campus. It's a meaningful sign of AU's ambition and its path moving forward, with more than 1.5 million new and or renovated square feet of teaching, learning, and residence hall space over the past 10 years. With it comes a growing reputation on a national and international scale. You feel this momentum when you come to this campus, and I know that, and I did. And in many ways, these achievements are thanks to Neil and the entire American University team who have set this community on a footing to lead in important ways. These are just some of the reasons why I am grateful to join this community as we chart the path for decades to come and build on this very important progress. So as I prepare to join this team in June, I know that I will want to do some very intent listening. I want to hear from you as we work to chart the course of the next chapter together. And let me conclude with where I started, and that is the people. It was clear from the moment I began in this process that the people who define this university are unparalleled in their commitment to the AU community and to the work that it does. From the faculty, to the students, to the staff, to the alumni, and the Board of Trustees, I found a consistency of purpose, a clarity on the importance of scholarship, and the students. I found people who would challenge me and each other, but do it with respect and with the interest of continuing to make AU stronger. I found a deep commitment to the university and a desire to build and make it better, stronger, and prepared to meet new demands of this next decade and to lead in new ways. Most importantly, I found people I like and a team that I will be honored to be a part of and to lead. So thank you. Thank you to the search committee and the board for your confidence and your trust. And thanks to all of you who participated in this strong process. I look forward to serving. Thank you.
I think they like you. Secretary Burwell, thank you very much for that very nice address. We are all very excited about you being here with us, and we're so excited that we're going to have a little reception afterwards, after following this at Katzen at 3:30 or as soon as we leave here, and it'll last from 3:30 to 5. But I do have an obligation as board chair to let you all know that we do have a science building to build, and so we have work to do, and I wish I wanted to thank everybody that's here. Thank you for your love of American University, and let's go have a celebration and everybody meet Sylvia over at Katzen. All right, thank you very much.